Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to another incredible episode of Wake Up and Dream. This special episode is going to be similar to one of our previous ones that we had with Kelly, and we are going to focus on Lisa's story and journey. So we asked Lisa for a favorite quote of hers, and this is the quote. Fear and faith are really two sides of the same coin. Both require you to believe in something you cannot see. And I love this quote. I feel like I can relate to it so much. And I just am so excited for Lisa to share more about her story and how this quote kind of, just how she feels about the quote and what this means to her. So, Lisa, do you want to just start there?
Sure. So this quote means so much to me because it's really been transformational in how I've approached things in my life that have appeared to be super scary. Um, the first one that was like the big one was my cancer diagnosis. When I got that diagnosis, it was scary, like, all the fears that come in of, like, you know, what am I gonna get to see my kids graduate and get married? Am I gonna be there for them? What if I have a bad prognosis and, like, are the kids gonna be okay without me? And, the mama heart just, I wasn't necessarily fearful of dying myself in that moment, which is kind of odd when you think about it. I was more concerned about, like, how everyone is gonna, like, like, just being there for my kids. So, the one big one was when I, knew I had to do a double mastectomy. It was it was a done deal. Um But I had never had surgery. I had never had any surgery of any kind, and here I am, 41 years old and going, "I've never been put under, anesthetics. I've never" like, you go into the room all by yourself, and all these fears came up, like, "What's gonna happen? Am I gonna wake up? Am I gonna, what am I gonna throw up when I wake up? Am I gonna make it out of surgery? People die in surgery, and all of these fears literally consumed my mind to the point where I was like, I don't know if I can do it. Like, I don't know if I can do it." But I knew I needed to, right? And then it was this release. It was like the day before, and I was like, "You know what? I just need to release this because I'm walking forward. This is what the next step in this journey." And the minute I decided to literally replace fear with faith, turn the coin over, this amazing peace flooded my soul, and I was like, "Okay, God's got this. All I have to do is take the next step." And that example has resurfaced so many times since then, where it's been like, "Okay, Lisa, which side of the coin are you gonna choose? Because you can hang on to the steering wheel super tight and, like, lose your cookies in the process, or you can let go, let God, and, adopt that attitude and mindset of faith."
So that is such a beautiful story. I love how you've taken something really just like scary and unknown and turned it into something where you could probably even build your faith in God even stronger. But do you think that that's something that you acquired like overnight, just in that one certain instance when you were diagnosed and went in for surgery? Or have you built your faith like that over time, um, to be able to use in those dire moments that you were in at that time?
Sure. Faith has always been, I mean, my relationship with God has always been really something that I've grown and developed, and it's been a core part of who I am, honestly. Um, and I also think just, some people are wired, we're all wired uniquely, but I think God has given me that ability to always see the glass half full instead of half empty. And I think that plays a factor in faith because you have to hope. You have to, you know, um, you have to think the best. I mean, it is a choice, but if you want to live in that state of hope, you go to the okay, like let's do this. But I grew up and really my faith is super duper important. It's not something that just happened because of cancer. It was already there, but it was tested in a big way when that diagnosis happened.
One of the things that you just said in your story was about how your mind like immediately went to your family and how are they going to manage like if all of these things that are going through your head like transpire in a negative way. And I feel like that is such a like it goes back to mom guilt and everything too. And I feel like it feeds the fear so much more. Like if you're just thinking about, and like you said, it's like you weren't worried about what about yourself, you're worried about everybody else. And it like just feeds that fear. Like how did you get over that component of it and then just allow yourself to have the faith and trust? Because I feel like for me as a mom, I fall into that even with the simple things where I worry so much about everybody else. And I don't know, for me, I feel like I dig myself into this hole of fear that I'm just creating in my mind, you know,
Right.
but it's
Yep.
something with that, like, magnitude.
Right.
How did you were you able
Hmm.
to navigate that?
That's a really good question, and two really special things, memories come to my mind. And I I am a teacher and coach just by my heart. And so this journey for me was okay, so God, you're going to use this for greater good. You work all things together for your good. So, what good can I help others to see, including my kids? How does mom handle this? They're watching all the time. How do the people that I'm around, my team members, how do I share this so that I'm breathing hope into their life and faith into their life? And um one so we didn't hide anything from the kids. They were in elementary
How
school.
old
They were
were okay. I was gonna say, how
Yeah,
old
they
were
were
they?
like 8, 10, and 13. So, like still pretty young, right? Um, and so I remember going to my biopsy, and we homeschooled at the time. And so I didn't know this, but while I was having my biopsy, my husband was doing the homeschool teaching, but he was explaining to them what mom was experiencing so that they, knew they were in the know. And so I came in to the homeschool room, and all 4 of them are just giggling, and I'm like, "What the heck? Like, do I have what's so funny?" And one of them said, "Well, mom, while you were gone, dad drew your boob on the whiteboard."
Oh my God.
So so
Typical
so
man,
that
right?
right? But it was like they were brought into it. And then when I was gonna lose, I knew cancer, chemo, like, day 14 is the day that your hair is going to fall out. Like, they tell you this, like, be prepared, have your wig, or your, scarf or whatever you're gonna do, because by day 14, you're going to be able to comb and literally your hair will just fall out in chunks. And I never wanted it to be like a traumatic thing because I'd heard other people's stories of, oh my gosh, I just bawled in the bathroom. There was hair all over my towel. And I'm like, I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be like almost like hopeful and fun. So we created a chemo party. That was one of my son's ideas. Let's do it. Let's throw a chemo party. And he made a bald head cake, like a bald head cake. And then they actually went and helped me pick out my wig. We took a field trip, right? You can do that as homeschoolers. I took them all to the wig store. And then on day 14, we had our chemo party, and part of our chemo party was they got to cut my hair because I wanted it gone, not, I wanted to be in control of that and
On your
have it
terms.
be, yeah. So I thought, am I gonna cry when I'm losing all my hair? And all I could see was like this pure joy as the 4 kids were like, yes, I get to design her hair any way I want. Because I had cut their hair all of their years, so they're used to me cutting their hair, but they've never cut my hair for crying out loud. And here they got to have the joy of literally cutting off every bit of my hair. It was a blast. I
Oh
mean,
my
but
God, I love
I
that.
was I was
And like the
taking.
example that you set for them in that moment, that could have been a very negative experience for them. Like you gave them that memory and you gave yourself that memory. That is amazing. It really is. Such a
Yes, I love
Well,
that so much because it could have been just like this scary moment for them. They're not, so unsure of what's going to happen to mama. And you just made it this fun, exciting, just tender moment with them. I think that's so special. And I hope our listeners are hearing that because there are scary moments in everybody's life, and especially for mamas, because we just have that tender heart. We want to do everything right by our kids and we put ourselves last. But that is just an amazing nugget that anybody could use with a loss of job or illness or whatever, to really just take those moments and make them extra special. It doesn't cost anything to have a moment and laugh and giggle and just create those memories
It's a
forever. That
gift.
is
You
just
gave your kids a gift in that moment. Do they
well,
talk about it? Like have they mentioned it since, or is it something that kind of stays with them that they bring up every once in a while?
they don't mention it very often, but it does come up occasionally.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I mean, I haven't had a lot of conversations with them of how they process it because they were so young, but yet at a really impressionable age where they do remember,
Yeah.
quite a bit of it,
I bet
for
one day
sure.
when they have kids or, and then a situation arises and your grandma did this or Nana, however you want to be called.
Right.
But I bet that's when it like kind of stirs when they're put in an
Hmm.
instant
Or
space.
perhaps like so this like, faith and fear kind of, that's stemming from your quote. I'm assuming you made reference at how you've applied it to other areas of your life too, which I want to get to, but perhaps they'll remember your faith during that period of time in their life, even though it's not something they talk about all the time. You are leading by example, and they're going to do the same and just have faith and trust when they have some sort of a situation that requires them to make that choice. So it's
Right.
like such a blessing that you gave them that example. You keep saying that they were young, but yeah, that's something that will stay with them for
Mhm.
sure.
Yes, for sure.
Do you want to talk a little bit about how this quote has impacted in other areas, like since that
Sure.
point?
Yeah, I mean, I think fear is something we all face. I mean, it's not something that we can just think that we're immune or we're never going to have fears in our life. They're just a part of us becoming more and more who we were created to be. And uh, when I think about my journey to direct sales, it also had a lot of fear wrapped around it because here I am, a stay-at-home mom. I had taught for 10 years in the public schools, but had never done sales, and for crying out loud, and I don't wanna be that pushy sales lady, and I had all the fears, like, if I say yes, am I gonna fail? Um, I don't like failing, period, but I've learned to embrace it and view it through a different lens, but back then, it was a very scary thing, like, I don't wanna make a fool out of myself. What if I try this and it doesn't work? What are people gonna think of me? I don't wanna be that pushy sales lady, and I remember deciding in that moment, like, "Okay, what's the worst thing that could happen if I said yes to joining, the direct sales company?" And I was like, "Nothing really," like, if I decide, it's not like it's life or death, and I have taken that practice into my leadership even, and my growth and my journey in, direct sales, because the only way you can grow is to look fear flat in the face and then flip the coin over and choose faith. Whether that be, you're afraid to, approach someone to ask them if they want to try the products. These are all new growth areas that I know you two can relate to. Um, but they require you to step out in faith, honestly.
Absolutely. I've experienced that for sure in network marketing and building a team and the success that you find doing it by, selling the product that you love and helping your team. It plays a huge part, but I feel like I want to like have you share a little bit about how like when someone joins your team and they have that same fear, and how do you share your experiences? Do you let them know, I know how you feel? Because I think that's so important when moms or women are just kind of looking for a way to make an extra income, or to find, for me it was to find the community, and just my girl tribe, and just have something that I could call my own. I think that's just, I don't know. I feel especially after the pandemic, like we're all wanting that community again. And it's even that first step of you're fearful of what are people going to think and what if I can't do this? But honestly, to go into it just with an open heart and an open mind and not having the fear and just going to enjoy it. I think we need to change what people are viewing of that income opportunity. So what maybe have you changed or shifted in some of your teammates' mindsets where it's, the fear turned to faith and then you see them kind of grow?
Hmm. That's a great question, and I think that's my joy, is passing the torch on. Like, I've learned this, but if I can influence and inspire and impact the women that work with me, like, that feeds my soul like nothing else can. So I think of a couple of examples. Really, I think because of my journey, one, I've seen and really feel like I stress the emphasis of living your life with intention. You don't know when your last day is. I mean, whether you have a cancer diagnosis or whether you get in a car accident, we don't know how long we have on this planet. And just letting them know that this community that I've created in my team is that safe place to literally step out and do something scary. Um, but a lot of it for me, when I'm coaching my team, is helping them to uncover, like, the self-talk and the beliefs and the thoughts that they're literally playing on repeat, that is keeping them locked in fear, like, "Oh, I can't do this. I'm never gonna amount to anything. I tried this once and it didn't work." Those type of thoughts are all fear. They're all fear. And we are so comfortable with those thoughts because we've played that record so many years that honestly, most people don't even know that that's what they're thinking, right? They're not aware, they're not awake to it. And so what I get to go in is I get to lovingly awaken them to heighten that awareness and go, you have a choice. Like, let me help you to create new thoughts because you're in this great, amazing support community to grow, to step out and create literally the life that you want. So that hope, that um, urgency to like, what are you waiting for? I can't do it for them, but that is my passion with my team in particular.
And once again, you're leading by example, like you did with your children. You're doing that with your team, and that's awesome. Your team is lucky to have you.
Thanks. I'm
And I
lucky to
think
have
that's,
them.
yeah, it's so important too for when women are looking for that opportunity to not just, yes, you have to love the products, but know who you're joining. And if they had someone like you to, coach them through all those things and be there for the hope and to change their mindset a little bit, like that's a huge piece of it. And I don't think it's really talked about, or I don't want to say advertised, but a lot of network marketing leaders don't offer that. So it's unique to find someone like you, Lisa, in that arena who, have a heart for not just building a team, but building a team of women who, you're changing their life and in return, they're changing yours and you guys are just growing together. I think that's absolutely amazing. It just gives me chills and feel so honored to know you because you just are doing it right. And that's what's so, so important. So
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for sharing your story. It's so unique. I love it. So wonderful. Well, you guys, girls, you guys are awesome. I love chatting with you guys every week. Yeah, just so
So
fun to
fun.
be together. But hey, for you guys listening, be sure to check out the show notes to get a copy of Lisa's favorite quote and a way for all of us to connect or for you to connect with us. So, but first, Lisa, I almost forgot. How can they connect with you if they have more questions about your story or anything like that? Where can they find you?
Sure, you can find me on Instagram. You just check the show notes. All of my contact information is on there. I've got a community that's customer based. That is a great community to learn more about, the company that I'm representing, as well as, just that little inspirational hope. It's called the Inspired Insiders. So yeah, be sure to reach out. I would love to connect with all of you.
That is so wonderful. Well, thank you again, and we will see you guys all next time. Bye now.